why didn't you wash the shirt that was in my room? I need to wear it tomorrow, so it's a problem if you don't wash it. Huh? If it's laundry, please put it in the laundry basket. Why don't you put it in when you take a shower? I forgot, so you should have put it in. Why are you getting angry at me? Can't you even do the housework properly? Since you're at home, I need you to do at least that much. No, no. Isn't that unreasonable? My husband, who used to be a gentleman when we were dating, started showing his true abusive nature as soon as we got married. Do you want me to pick up the laundry that's left in your room? Since there's a laundry basket, why don't you put it there when you take a shower? Leaving clothes on the floor. At this age, can't you do such a simple thing without being told? It's something you would warn a child about. I was furious at my husband's attitude of expecting me to do everything, and even I, who am usually calm, was about to lose my patience. Enough already. Don't you realize that what you're saying is strange? I'm not asking you to do the chores with me, just do the bare minimum. Listen here. You don't understand your own position, do you? A woman like you contradicting me, your husband. You're a woman, so instead of going against me, think about how to please me. After all, you're just like any other maid, right? Just like a maid. The moment I heard those words, something inside me snapped. So, this person has always thought of me as just a maid. Understanding that, I could see why he acted the way he did. He doesn't cherish me as his wife, but sees me as a convenient maid. So it's natural for him to get angry if things don't go his way. At this point, I have no love left for my husband. Okay, I understand. It seems I was a bit mistaken. Sorry about that. If you understand, that's fine. From now on, think about your position properly. If not, it makes me angry. You're a woman, so your place is below me. Don't forget that. No. I want a divorce. I refuse to be used as your maid from now on. When I said that, my husband got even more furious, but we ended up getting divorced. After getting his signature on the divorce papers, all that was left was for me to leave the house. After saying that, I slowly began to speak. Well then. I hope you're not chosen in the next personnel downsizing. Huh? What are you talking about? Well, my name is Lisa. I live with my parents in our family home in New York. I'm turning 32 this year, so I often hear, how long will you live in your parents' house at your age? However, I'm not relying on my parents for a living. I have my own income, and I think I have been able to repay my parents with it. Mom, I got the tickets for the Hawaii trip we talked about going on together. Huh? We did talk about it, but did you really get the tickets? It's during the New Year's period, wasn't it quite expensive? Don't worry about the price. Creating memories with the whole family is much more important. Since I had quite a bit of free time, I could afford to take my parents on trips and even remodel our house. I was doing whatever I could for them. My parents both worked and had put me through private university. They had spent most of their earned money on me, which is why I couldn't thank them enough. Because of my parents, I am who I am today, that's an undeniable fact. Thinking this, I was willing to do whatever I could for them. I know you earn money, but are you really okay? It might be overstepping. But I'm a little worried because I don't really understand. It's stocks. I'm also investing in cryptocurrencies and other things. But the biggest thing is the profits as a major shareholder. I'm getting a decent amount of money, and I have savings, so don't worry. I started investing in my 20s and built up a large fortune with it. However, I didn't splurge with that money. Instead, I bought shares in a certain company, and now I'm a major shareholder. Because of these profits, I could earn a decent amount of money without doing anything. Of course, more than half of the profits went into savings. And since I lived at home, I didn't need to pay rent. That's why, even if I spent money on living expenses or outings, it didn't amount to a large expenditure. That day, I had to go to check on the company, so I prepared myself in the morning. Usually, since I'm always at home, my parents must think I'm going out to eat with someone. But I didn't have anyone like that, as I was thinking that I should get married soon. But wasn't in a hurry because I was financially stable. Oh, sorry. Hello. The meeting that day ended earlier than I thought. And just as I was about to go out for lunch alone, someone who appeared to be an employee of ours, perhaps from the sales department, dressed in a suit, approached me. Hello. Sorry for suddenly speaking to you. But, you were so beautiful. Beautiful. I had never been called that before, so I blushed a bit. And to be called sister. I'm already 32 years old. Well, I tried to look young and even went to beauty treatments. So, being called young was quite pleasing to me internally, although I tried not to show it. I think it showed quite a bit on my face. That's not true. It really is. That's why I couldn't help but talk to you. How about we exchange contact information? Maybe we could go out for a meal sometime if you're free. Being a major shareholder, maybe I shouldn't be too familiar with the employees. But I shouldn't dismiss the chance to meet new people. I thought so based on my experiences. And particularly because it was the first time I'd been picked up in such a way. I decided to exchange contact information with him. Then, that very day, he invited me out for drinks after work, just the two of us. Normally, you wouldn't go out for drinks on a date right after being picked up. But perhaps because I was either confident or hadn't thought it through, I casually agreed. It had been a while since I'd gone out for drinks. I'm not great with alcohol, but I'd only been going out with family recently. So I was looking forward to it. I felt no fear, just excitement. Although I was a bit nervous, I dressed up and headed to the designated place. It had been a long time since I had dressed up to go out. It really felt fresh. And as I got closer to the destination, my heartbeat increased. Hello. Sorry, I'm late. Shall we go? He said this, took my hand, and led me to the restaurant as if escorting me. I wasn't sure if he was just being a gentleman or if he just had a lot of experience with women. But anyway, I was feeling fresh, and my heart wouldn't stop racing. Having my hand held, I was worried he could hear my heart beating. I was thinking things that a high school girl dreaming of her youth might think. And although I was embarrassed by my thoughts, I think I was truly enjoying the situation from the bottom of my heart. I really thought a beautiful person like you would ignore my message. So I'm genuinely happy that we could come out for drinks like this today. Thank you for inviting me. I was quite nervous, but he seemed not to be as much, having perhaps more experience. We had a fun meal and drinks for about 2 hours before deciding to part ways for the night. Thank you for today. Please invite me again. Thank you too. It was fun, let's go out again. We promised to go out for a meal again and then parted ways. It had been a long time since I had a meal like that, and I really enjoyed it. Over time, we continued to communicate daily, and 3 months later, we began dating. Given that we were both in our 30s, we decided to marry after a year of dating. Congratulations. From now on, you'll be happy with your husband. Yes. Thank you. My parents were as happy about my marriage as if it were their own. And I was truly happy to be married. Even though I said I wasn't financially insecure, my parents would inevitably pass away before me. That's why I thought I needed to find someone I could call a life partner. When I was a mentally immature student, I thought of marriage as being forever bound to someone you love, a naive illusion. But at this age, it's not just about loving someone. It's about considering the future when marrying. Well, I think I'm lucky because I was able to marry someone I truly love, not just for the benefits. It was fortunate that I didn't have to consider financial aspects. However, married life didn't go as well as I had thought. I had believed that this happy feeling from the early days of our marriage would last forever. Welcome home. I made your favorite fried chicken today. Oh? Didn't I tell you? I'm going out to eat with friends today, so I'll change and leave. What? Really? If you had plans to go out, you should have told me sooner. Then I wouldn't have made dinner. Just eat it yourself then, right? Well, I'm leaving soon. I have the day off tomorrow, so I won't be back until morning. Not coming back until morning. It's not that I get angry about that. But, couldn't he consider me a bit more? He said he had never cooked for himself. So he probably doesn't understand how hard it is to prepare food. But, this is about considering me. If he thought about me even a little, he would have contacted me before I prepared the meal. That's what you would think. Well, it's okay, for today, but could you contact me a bit earlier next time? If not, I won't make dinner for two. Just freeze it or something, adapt to the situation. It's too much trouble to contact every time. Too much trouble. Is he serious? When we were dating, he used to escort me like a gentleman, the complete opposite of now. But now, he seems to see me only as a convenient maid. That's how it feels. Of course, I think it's my job to do the housework since I'm a full-time housewife. I haven't told my husband that I'm a major shareholder. And although I have some savings from past investments, I still pay for half of our living expenses. But because I don't work and stay at home, he thinks it's natural for me to do all the housework. It's not that I have a complaint about that itself. But, as a person, couldn't he consider my feelings a bit more? Because he's tired from work, I prepare meals to match his return home. I go shopping in the afternoon. And sometimes it takes an hour or two to prepare something elaborate. Despite that, I just sighed. It was lonely to eat alone that day. So I went back to my parents' house and enjoyed a meal with just the three of us for the first time in a while. It's not that I want to restrict you from going out just because we're married. But, couldn't you think about me a little more? Maybe he's just a typical authoritarian husband. My father was like that too, but there were quite a few like him back then. It was natural for women to do housework at home, at least that's not too bad. But there are still people who think it's a woman's role to devote herself to men. Maybe that's what it is. I feel like he sees me that way. Indeed, what my parents are saying might not be wrong. I usually don't get emotional and digest any unpleasant feelings internally. Therefore, I never complain to my husband enough to start a fight. This aspect of my personality might be encouraging his behavior. But it's wrong for me to blame myself. I'm not doing anything wrong or saying anything strange. The one acting oddly is my husband, not me. It's not me who needs to reconsider actions and thoughts, but my husband. Well, even though I think this, my husband's attitude might not change. I was beginning to regret getting married. The next day, the husband, having a day off, slept until noon and only got up at 1 p.m. Why didn't you wash the shirt that was in my room? I need to wear it tomorrow, so it's a problem if you don't wash it. Huh? If it's laundry, please put it in the laundry basket. Why don't you put it in when you take a shower? I forgot, so you should have put it in. Why are you getting angry at me? Can't you even do the housework properly? Since you're at home, I need you to do at least that much. No, no. Isn't that unreasonable? Do you want me to pick up the laundry that's been left in your room? And this husband always says not to enter his room on my own. Therefore, I can't collect the laundry in the husband's room. And since there's a laundry basket, why doesn't he put it there when he takes a shower? Just taking it off and leaving it. At this age, he can't do such a simple thing without being told. It's like scolding a child. This attitude of my husband, expecting me to do everything, really infuriates me. And even I, who am usually calm, am reaching my limit. Enough already. Don't you realize that what you're saying is strange? I'm not asking you to do the chores with me, just do the bare minimum. Listen here. You don't understand your own position, do you? A woman like you contradicting me, your husband. You're a woman, so instead of going against me, think about how to please me. After all, you're just like any other maid, right? Just like a maid. The moment I heard those words, something inside me snapped. So, this person has always thought of me as just a maid. Understanding that, I could see why he acted the way he did. He doesn't cherish me as a wife, but as a convenient maid. And it's natural for him to snap when things don't go his way. By now, there's no love left for my husband. A marriage can't work if it's one-sided. Both must love, understand, and respect each other. If we don't do that, it's meaningless. Have you always thought of me this way? Why are you asking that all of a sudden? It's obvious, isn't it? Am I saying something strange? Okay, I understand. It seems I was a bit mistaken. Sorry about that. If you understand, that's fine. From now on, think about your position properly. If not, it makes me angry. You're a woman, so your place is below me. Don't forget that. After saying that, the husband went back to his room. I had confirmed his feelings, and I had no lingering attachment anymore. I immediately prepared the divorce papers and took them to my husband. Here. I want a divorce. I refuse to be exploited as your maid any longer. Huh? What do you mean by divorce? Don't say things on your own. Why should I continue a married life with someone who doesn't cherish me? How could that possibly be acceptable? What benefit is there for me to continue married life with you? You're getting too carried away as a woman wanting a divorce. Getting too carried away? What is he talking about? Who's really getting carried away? He clearly doesn't understand. And, he never bragged about being a major shareholder before. Nor did he use it to dominate others, but social status is different. I wish he wouldn't get carried away, too. Men are supposed to be in a higher position, right? That's right. If you understand that, then don't talk about getting a divorce. No. If men are so superior, then why don't you have any pride when a woman like me says this much? Normally, if said so much, you just divorce quickly and remarry a woman who's more loyal to you. Why are you so fixated on me? Can't you leave me? Because he was always so proud, just changing my approach a bit could overly stimulate his pride. Despite looking down on me, can't he leave me? If I said that, he'd probably lose it. That's why I said it in a provocative tone and laughed. Then, the husband turned red with anger and yelled back at me, almost raising his hand. What? Don't mess with me. There are plenty of others to replace you. I've said it many times, but don't get carried away. Then let's divorce right now. I think I've reached my limit in continuing married life with you. And you probably don't want to live with a woman who can't fulfill her role, right?
Yeah.
I'll divorce you right now. You're underestimating people. Just know that even if you beg, I will never remarry you. Not remarrying. Who would want that? I asked for a divorce. Why would he think I'd want to remarry? If he's that confident, it's hilariously absurd. Where does such confidence come from? No one in this world would love someone like him. Looking down on people because of gender differences. Anyone who asks such a person to marry them will end up a victim like me. Well, he must think he looks cool being a domineering husband. But his life post-divorce is none of my concern. He can keep misunderstanding, all I want is a quick divorce. I don't intend to remarry, and even if I did, it would be with someone other than you. Could you just sign the divorce papers? Is this okay? But get out of this house. Also, no division of property. We both paid for our living expenses, so no complaints, right? No division of property. If he's willing to do that, there's no better deal for me. It benefits me only. Besides, he has already signed the divorce papers. I returned to my parents' home that day and immediately packed my bags. During that time, I didn't talk to my husband or even make eye contact. But I finished packing all my belongings in about an hour. Fortunately, I didn't have much luggage. All right, I'm ready, and all that's left is to go home. Now that it's come to this, it's probably fine to reveal everything. Also, I'm not sure about the details yet. But you might be getting fired soon, so be prepared. What? Getting fired? Why are you meddling in company matters? I don't know if this is your way of getting back at me for the divorce. But if you have time to say such nonsense, just leave already. I don't mind leaving right away, but I'm serious, you know? Actually, you don't know anything about me, do you? Seeing my serious expression, I could tell that my husband's composure faded a bit. Since I usually don't joke or fool around. He probably couldn't guess what I was about to say and seemed a bit on guard. But no way. At this time, my husband couldn't have predicted what I was about to say. I'm a major shareholder of the company you work for. I think I've mentioned it a few times, but I succeeded in investments when I was young. I had some wealth, so I started investing in stocks. After various developments, I ended up as a shareholder of your company. And now I live off those profits. So, you've really made an enemy of the wrong person. Huh? No, what? I don't have time for such ridiculous jokes. If you think it's a joke, why don't you check with the CEO? We never told anyone we were married. And it seems you kept our marriage hidden from the company too. I don't know if you're targeting junior female employees, but everything was clear to me. The moment I said this, my husband's eyes widened, truly surprised. He might still be somewhat skeptical. But he immediately grabbed his smartphone and called someone. Probably he was contacting someone in the company's upper management. But about 5 minutes later, as my husband was absorbed in his phone, he seemed to lose all his energy as if his soul had been extracted, and he turned to look at me. Breathing a bit heavily, he started speaking in a hoarse voice. Why did you hide such an important thing? Why didn't you tell me everything when we got married? I only attended shareholders' meetings and didn't know many of the employees. Plus, it was better not to publicize our marriage due to our positions as employee and shareholder. I was thinking of telling you when the time was right. But it's good to have learned your true nature before that. Can you give me back the divorce papers first? No divorce. If there's anything you're unhappy with about what I've done, I apologize and will strive to improve. So let's talk things over for now. Just as I expected, a typical response. He'd do anything for his own protection. But, after saying women are inferior to men, he's quite audacious to stoop so low. It's almost admirable. If he really had any pride, he wouldn't be groveling like this, regardless of my position. He was so loud about giving me a divorce before. So, you don't want to divorce anymore? You prioritize self-preservation over your pride. I expected this, but I didn't think you'd show such a pitiful sight. No. I was wrong, seriously, I'm sorry. I truly respect you for being such an incredible person. Respect? Aren't women supposed to be inferior to men like him? An entity to be looked down upon? But no matter what he says now, my feelings won't change. I really feel bad, so won't you forgive me? I'll try to be a better husband from now on. So, let's start over together, okay? Impossible. If I have to start over with someone like you, it would be much better to start over my life from scratch. That's how I feel. Oh, and there will be a staff reduction soon. People whose humanity has ended aren't needed in the company. You don't have to say things like that. As I said this, my husband looked truly panicked. Not only was he facing a divorce, but his job situation was also in jeopardy. It's only natural. But as I've said many times, my feelings have changed. And I don't care what happens to him after the divorce. After all, he's been looking down on me and using me like a maid. So I have no obligation to help him. Well, I don't know what will happen next, but our divorce is certain. So, take care of yourself. I won't help you at all. With that, I took my luggage and the divorce papers and left the house. My husband followed me out, but I got into a taxi right away. And that was the last I saw of him. The sight of my husband chasing after me with a miserable face was utterly ridiculous. Where has the domineering husband gone? Well, that's probably his true nature. Then, before going to my parents' house, I stopped by the city office to submit the divorce papers. The divorce was finalized successfully, and we became strangers to each other. Afterward, I went straight home to my parents. I told my parents everything about the divorce. It must have been tough. But divorcing such a person was the right decision. You're still young, and you'll find someone better. That's right. Nowadays, domineering husbands are unthinkable. And he must be regretting divorcing Lisa by now. Thanks to my parents' encouragement, I was able to feel a bit more at peace. I'm glad. Having my parents on my side made me feel not at all lonely. Thank you so much, both Mom and Dad. I could decide on the divorce right away because I knew you would support me. Thank you, truly. Having someone to rely on when in trouble is the biggest difference between me and my ex-husband. He always thought of himself first, and I always prioritized those around me. That's why I think a big difference will emerge after the divorce. 1 month after the divorce, I received a call from the CEO. Hello. Thanks for everything. I thought I should report to you about the staff reduction. According to what the CEO told me, my ex-husband was targeted in the staff reduction and was forced out of the company. I didn't tell the CEO to fire my ex-husband, nor did I apply any pressure. The CEO said that his attitude towards work had been problematic. And there were also complaints from junior female employees. One reason my ex-husband hid our marriage was probably that he wanted to play around with women. But divorcing him was definitely the right decision. Even if we had continued our married life, it wouldn't have been happy. And I should be glad to have been freed in less than a year. Is that so? Thank you for the update. With his personality, it's uncertain what he'll do about re-employment. Well, it's certain that a bright future isn't waiting for him. That's true. He's largely brought this upon himself, but he's no longer someone related to us. Hearing about my ex-husband's miserable fate did give me a bit of relief. Of course, feeling relieved at someone else's misfortune. As a person, it might not be right to say that. However, realistically speaking, my ex-husband wreaked havoc on my time and dignity. And such an end seems fitting. What you do always comes back to you in the same form. Even after the divorce, unlike me who hasn't been much affected. My ex-husband is living a lonely life without a job. This difference is the result of our past actions. Mom, how about we all go on a trip this weekend? That sounds lovely. Shall we ask your father to drive? He really likes the car you bought for him. It's been a while since the divorce, but I'm still living happily at my parents' home. Life here is so much more enjoyable compared to when I was married. My parents never complain or say anything unreasonable to me. That's why I can live freely and happily. And I think it's a good environment for both me and my parents. Human relationships are complex and not something that can be easily built. Often, the people you want to get along with just don't match your personality. But without a mutual understanding and willingness to compromise, nothing can be achieved. Marriage is never easy, and it won't work without both parties making concessions and cooperating. My ex-husband never showed such an attitude. And unless he understands this, he'll likely repeat the same mistakes. I don't know if I'll remarry or what will happen in the future. But for now, I just want to enjoy the present. Besides, marriage is different from dating. Having learned from this failed experience, if I ever consider remarriage, I'd like to choose someone who won't make the same mistakes. Someone who genuinely considers others. Not someone selfish, but a partner who can truly respect each other.